Okay, let's see here. Good. Goes to the YouTubes.
We should be online. Hello guys,
Yep.
and welcome to the dojo. Say hi.
Hi. Sorry, I was looking at the stream. My bad, y'all.
Alright, so we have down here, and today we are going to do a VOD review of a team game, a scrim, that was provided to us by Jenster. Thank you for that. But before we go into that, I have to talk about our Patreon, because this is getting
Of course.
to the end of the month, and if you want to get coached or want to get into group coaching or team incubator, then this is the right time to do it, because it is going to start in a few days. So
yeah,
what is going on here? We have these kind of tiers. If you want to support the dojo and get rewards, this is your perfect chance. Basically, the Team Incubator tier allows you to get into our Team Incubator, and basically the idea is to facilitate networking between players in the Team Incubator and to allow them to play in teams which are going to be coached and which are going to be helped to form a proper team. So this includes coaching and creating strategies with them, helping them with the lineups and stuff like that. So that's the idea with that tier. Group coaching.
it's essentially better than going into the LFG that's in Overwatch, whereas here you get actually people who actually want to try out and might not troll you, and you get coached in the same notion, which Overwatch LFG cannot provide for you.
That's true. We have feedback that voiceover is choppy.
Voiceover choppy.
Can you listen to the stream tone for me? I can't, because it's going to echo.
Yeah.
So I'm going to just talk. Let's read this. You will get access to our team incubator, where you can play and practice with like-minded people in scrims and pugs, and form teams with the help of one of our coaches. That's it. Welcome, everyone.
Sounds good.
Sounds good.
Sounds
okay.
good.
So it's on your end, George. No, Gary. Okay.
Yeah. Oh, Ton's choppy.
That's
what?
choppy. Due to Discord.
Okay.
Yeah, I can use another what Genster if you send one.
Okay.
There was a question, or statement rather, from George Gonzalez. I need coaching and I'm stuck in Platinum on Xbox. You can get to our Discord anytime. We have a kinda active console channel, but you can basically ask your questions in the dojo coaching. It should be the same. I mean, yeah, the mechanics are different, and sometimes how these are played are different, but we have a lot of someones from PlayStation and Xbox players. So if you want to do that, just feel free to post a video recording. You can record your videos there easily. Hey.
Jenster's wanting you to use a different VOD.
Yes.
Okay.
That.
Well, I'm glad you like the Fight Club there, Rosie Lee. Am I saying that right? I feel like I am.
What?
Rosie Lee. I'm just reading through the comments. Ignore me.
Oh, okay. No, do that. I am setting this up. So this is going to be a team VOD, guys. We are going to review a team VOD, something that we started in the Dojo 2.0. It's not going to be a single person VOD. Basically, we are promoting amateur esports now, and this is what Overwatch is about. If you want to have fun, if you want to play in a team. So back to the Patreon, because I finish it. Just go over it quickly.
Yes.
It was in the announcements. Yeah, so group coaching. This is a really affordable thing that we have come up with. 2 sessions per month that are going to be workshops. So if you participate in this, you're going to be part of a workshop, and we are going to work on different topics. Some things like shot calling, how to create strategies for the team, how to do VOD reviews properly, how to manage your team in different aspects, how to apply tournaments, how to create strategies for tournaments, how to research enemy teams. So anything that is team related is going to be put here, and that's the idea. I have the link from Genster now, so this is loaded. And we have the coachings So we lowered the prices by 25% for each tier, and basically if you want to get coached by me or by Lepidus, he is the other coach in the dojo, then let's go. It's one-on-one session, it's for your improvement, and if you feel stuck or if you feel that the game is not fun anymore and you don't understand it why, then we are here to help you. That's basically it for Patreon, and let's get to the video.
Well, no, Jinster's freaking out because it's not necessarily a team VOD, according to him, but I don't know. The man's confusing.
It's not from a spectator point of view, but
yeah. That's...
can we use the other Jenster? All right, we are going to use the other one. That was a team VOD, actually.
Okay. We're trying to analyze a team VOD, Jinster. Don't confuse me. What do you mean, no?
Why no?
He says not this one. You know what? No, we're done. No. No. You obviously need to be coached on this one, Jinster, if you're just so adamant about it.
Okay, let's do this.
So...
this is fine. If this is truly not fine with you, then just say so. You have some seconds to do so.
Yeah, exactly. Like 5 seconds, my boy. I like how his like icon right now is like a black circle. It's like black hole.
Oh, there on the stream, yes.
Yeah.
Right.
Yes, Alien gets recommended lots of cool stuff on YouTube's.
The same trash. Yes, we get that. I mean, this is a shared account for the Overwatchdojo team, so this can get crazy. All right, let's do this. Let's do this. I mean,
let's do this.
Okay. Can you see the drawing on the screen? My first question.
Yes.
Yes. Good. Okay.
Yes.
So we are going to use this tool. This is called Epic Pen. It's free. Allows you to draw on over the screen. Tool that we are using for coaching a lot of times. So let's just go. So what we are going to see is a scrimmage, a scrim game, a practice game between two teams. And these two teams are fighting against each other to practice different things. So when you are in a team, you usually have a schedule. You get together with your team and you start by warming up, doing some kind of practice, getting coaching, getting analysis, stuff like that. Usually you're going to play scrims against other teams. And the idea to basically, there are a lot of Overwatch channels which allow, for example, Dojo. We have these kind of channels where you could look for scrims. Pro Esports, looking for Scrim EU. And if you see here, for example, looking for Scrim EU 3K, 20 chess EST. So basically, looking for a team around 3K to play against. You hop into a game and you play and practice your stuff. That's what we are going to see here. Do it.
Jinster's really flipping out right now. He's like, he says there's another one with a Kingsman on King's Row. I don't know, like, we've asked you for a video and you've sent us like 10.
Yeah, true that.
You're confusing us, Jinster. My mind is so small. I can only accept so much data at this time.
Okay, we are going to do the scrim. Supposed to be a scrim, but
AFK.
Yeah, good. Okay. Yes. Oh.
Okay. Symmetra. Lovely choice. I like it. It's bold. It's daring. I can roll with this.
All right. So, what happens between teams is basically you want to practice your stuff. You want to practice some kind of thing that I've been discussing. Things like, usually the best way to start off when you are playing a team is to just get used to what you are playing in different roles and stuff like that. But when you get together and play a lot, you are going to have to start working on different comps. And for example, work on goats, because that's popular right now in the Scream scene. There are a lot of goat compositions. You can play dive, you can play that ball, you can play different variations of other compositions. And usually when you play scrims on a given day, you are going to play the same composition again and again against different teams. Of course, you need to adjust to the other team and what they bring to the table, but that's the idea. See how this goes here.
I mean, those lineups are very interesting. My question is, because I'm just now getting used to this, why is Doomfist so prevalent right now in the meta?
Is it?
Why is it popular?
Yeah, because okay, a lot of the games I've been playing lately, Doomfist has been just popping up like mad, and that hasn't been a thing before. Is there a reason why Doomfist is now so usable? Because in the past, nobody liked using him, saying that he was unplayable, but now he is apparently a god tier type of pick.
Yeah. It's mostly because the meta comms are not really mobile. He can basically just jump in, one-hit someone, and get back to his team. And with proper help like Azaria Bubble, it's easy to do. But if you are skilled with the Doomfist, you can just get easy picks. You can boop the enemies around also, so you can open up free entries to the enemy team. And his ult is kinda good for a DPS ult. If you are able to farm that, if you're able to do a lot of damage, then you can just jump the backline when the rest of the team initiates in a team fight. So he is an overall good pick in the current meta, mostly because he can just get around the stuns with the jumps and then wreak havoc. That's the idea.
Okay. Interesting. Interesting.
No, we didn't hear you.
All right, so the game is closed right now. Let's get to the beginning. That was too much. Okay.
Too far.
Or that's right. Alright, so when you're reviewing yourself, you are looking for that mostly. This is a different thing. When you're looking at team VODs, you are going to look at team mistakes. You can sometimes like hear what they talk about. Communication is an important thing, but we are basically looking for team mistakes, like losing important heroes quickly, or not playing together, close together, or not using the strengths of your team. So basically anything that can be categorized in these. Yeah, that's the idea.
Okay.
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 So let's go with it. We have the defenders playing Doomfist, Ana, Diva, Monkey, Sombra, and Zen. And they are not really defending close to the choke, because this team is not about that, not about defending chokes. You can basically just jump the enemies, diving them. The other team is playing basically the same, but they are not using Sombra, they are using Tracer. Now, Tracer is an interesting choice here, because she is not that strong in the current meta when you are playing against comp that runs stuns. You can't really do a lot of damage without being exposed. And King's Row is not the best map for Tracer.
That's kind of ironic.
Yeah, kinda. I mean, here it is hard to get around. You are going to be reliant on your recalls.
Well, I was just saying lore-wise, I just find it ironic.
Yeah. I know. Okay. Okay, so let's see the first team fight. We're going to watch it and then go back to the beginning.
What heals do they have?
Zen as well.
Tracer's left.
They have Zenana. Okay.
You can hear the calls in the background, so it's working nicely.
Okay.
Whistle, below.
Interesting.
Out of mech.
Okay.
Zenana are top left. We can kill them. We can stagger them.
Zen's discorded. Anna discorded.
Dead. Nice.
Nice.
Zen
Baby
still
DB
left side stairs. Okay. Whoa.
I killed Zen. Tracer's left side. Right side.
Okay, that was basically the first team fight. So the
Mm-hmm.
defenders were able to punish the attackers. You see what happened and why it happened, John?
I was trying to follow the camera movements. It looked like their tanks dove in over here onto the right of the pillar here, and so, and in response, the blue tanks dove in and took care of them and kind of assisted with that. And Zenyatta, I think, may have discarded either the monkey or the diva that came up there.
Hmm.
And then Anna's hiding somewhere doing some damage, but then Doomfist came in and janitorized and kind of cleaned up a little bit here and there. I don't know where the Sombra was. I didn't see her.
Okay. So currently we don't have a lot of tools to get good reviews because we are just seeing the game from the spectator point of view, and this is a bit constraining. But what you need to look for is the kill feed. Usually this is what is going to tell about what is going on in the game. And when you are reviewing a team game, it's really important to always look at a kill feed and also to the status bar of the teams. Those are what you need to keep an eye out for. Okay. So let's see the beginning, the initiation. So we had a video where we talked about this, but basically a team fight is preparation. I'm just going on the screen. That should. Yep. And this is when you start out, come to the line of sight of the enemy team, get an assessment of what is going on, where they are positioned. Are they defending the point here in the choke or back somewhere? Where are the supports? Where are the priority targets that you want to jump on with a team like this? So, yeah.
Interesting.
After the prep, you get to the phase where you are poking if the team is for that. There is going to be some damage here because they have Zen, they have Ana, they can do some damage from a range, but it is not that important here. With comms, when you are running snipers, Hanzo or Widow, stuff like that, is really important to make the poking phase critical for your team. You want to get picks in that part. So you are in the line of sight of the enemy team and you want to do some damage. And then there's the team fight. And that team fight, that's basically the phase when the teams are going against each other, and then regroup. So this is how it works, and after the regroup is done, you are going back to the prep phase again. So looking at the chat, just chatting, no questions so far. Okay,
No.
What we are having here is a nice defense by the blue team. So let's say that which your team that we should review?
Jenser's team is the blue team.
The blue one.
Jenser's
Okay, we are
team
going to
is
review the blue one.
What heals do they have?
So positioning is the first thing that you want to get. Are we in the right spot? The tanks are on the low ground. DPS and healers are hidden on top. Healers don't have the line of sight currently, but that's fine because no damage is being done.
Yeah, I don't know where the Sombra is in this situation because I see Zenyatta down there, I see Anna and Doomfist. I don't know where Sombra is. Oh, is that her?
Sombra is hiding around the mega.
Okay. That makes sense.
Okay, so one important thing is communications. The team starts talking about the enemy team right as they see it. This is important because this will allow the DPS to position themselves in a way that allows them to do damage. This will allow the tanks to react to what is going on. So basically, someone is going to be spotting for the team. Information is power, and you want to use all the information against the enemy team that you can use without exposing yourself, of course. So
Yep. One of the comments here says And I think it's one of the teammates that's on here says that at the start, Somber is at doors scouting comp and then TPs to the mega.
That's right. That's that.
Tracer's left.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yep.
So that
There was a
okay,
TP.
okay.
Okay. So yeah, and this is exactly what I'm talking about. Scouting the enemy team is really important because you are going to be able to react to what is going on. Because as the defenders, you are usually reacting to the enemy team. So teamwork, communication is a lot more important in a team setting than mechanics and the skill of a single person. Of course, as a DPS, you need good aim. As a Zenyatta, you need good aim. But you are more reliant on coordination and execution.
Okay.
So that is the idea. Okay, so they scout the enemy comp. And the attackers initiate here. They jump to the high ground. They have a team that can control high ground. And as they don't have to fight anybody on the point, it is beneficial for them to try to gain control of the high ground. For one reason, because it is a safe spot, and they want to make sure that they are not being damaged really by a Zen or someone from up top. Two, because they are looking for information as well. They don't really know what is going on. These guys are hidden here. Another great thing to use against an enemy team is to hide information. Mind games. I really like this.
So many mind games. So delicious.
Okay, so the shields pop there. Ana is not really able to do any healing. And we can see that there are already 2 picks for the blue team. The Winston went down quite quickly here.
Because I think he already lost his armor before he dove into the high ground. Yeah. And he's just a big squishy marshmallow.
That's right, he was already being damaged. So the initiation, it's important to stay in the line of sight of your supports. I'm not exactly seeing where the red supports are. There is somebody on the right there. So in theory, they have the line of sight. But because the blue Winston blocks most of what is going on with a shield, they are not able to heal their tanks. While the supports in the blue team have a good line of sight on the Ana, and the monkey can basically just step down there. Okay, so this fallen monkey here is in a bad spot because there's the statue and the Ana is... the Zen is there, so Zen is not going to be able to see the monkey there, I think.
Yeah.
The Ana is going to the top, so the execution for the red team was not really good here.
Yeah, this was clever. I don't know why the red team's going so hard on the flank with the healers, though. That makes little sense to me.
Looking at the comments, Slade actually blocked that nade from the enemy Ana. Yes, okay. That's true. That's also an important thing. Skill timing against the enemy support abilities. His then got a pick on the enemy Tracer. That was neat. The Evo went down as well. And from this point, it's basically cleanup. So you have a 3-man advantage, and you want to use that advantage to farm ults, because ults are going to win the long game. So basically making sure that you are playing it safely. And as you can hear, they have good calls. They have good shot calls, focusing the single targets, cleaning up, making sure that no one leaves the battlefield here.
Yeah.
Okay, so that was the first team fight. It was actually well executed from the blue team's point of view. What's really important here is getting information about the enemy team, reacting to their initiation, and using your synergies, using your line of sight, and blocking that of the enemies.
Yeah.
Okay.
It was a great defense. I liked it. I mean, it sucked at the end of the team fight they lost their Zenyatta, but outside of that,
yeah, that's also an important thing. So on King's Row, the attackers have a close spawn, and if you lose 1 or 2 players as a defenders, you need to start to play a little bit more passively, even if it means that you let the enemy step on the point.
Okay.
Yeah. sometimes you just need to wait for your teammates. I mean, Anna can take care of the healing, but the Discord from the Zen is really vital here.
Yeah, I see him. I see him. I see him.
See how this goes for the blue. Yes, they are trying to avoid line of sight.
No jump. I'm gonna die.
Red team jumps in.
Good jump. I'm dead.
D.Va's low. D.Va's super low.
Again, let's watch the fight and then
Dead.
try to analyze what went wrong.
Winston's is cold.
I have EMP.
Nah, we can't.
Okay, this is most likely a
CK,
point for the red team. That's right. Okay, so the first defense was nice. They lost the Zen,
Yeah, I see
and
him, I see him,
they
I see him.
pulled back, kinda. Winston is up there, Zen is coming back, taking the long route to get to the top, I think. Rest of the team is around here. So from here, want to be passive, as I was saying. You want to make sure that all of your teammates are there to help you. If we look at the ults, they can't really use anything right now. After one team fight, unless someone does really well, you cannot really expect that you are going to have. So these are dry pushes. The only tools that you have is teamwork and coordination, and you don't want to get into a fight that's a 5v6 or a 4v6. You want to wait for your teammates. Okay, so what was the mistake here by the blue team? What do you think?
I feel. I don't. Oh.
I'm gonna die.
Well, I guess maybe one of their DPS is being gone. Like I saw that Sombra ran off to go try and deal with the healers, but in that time frame, I guess I don't know. I don't even know if Sombra would have been a worthwhile stay there. I don't know. They were just overpowered almost. It looked like.
Do this again,
I don't know.
because the initiation is the key here.
So let's see. Winston's jumping in. D.Va's going around to boop Winston out of the way to avoid the Anna there. But then D.Va and Doomfist come in to, I think, jump the Anna still. So maybe it's because they're knocking out the main heals first.
Okay, it's a 5v6 situation in the favor of the red team. The blue team is not really creating enough space between them and the enemies. And this is mostly because teams usually want to hold the point. And still, what I was mentioning before, you don't want to take a fight that's a 5v6, at least not against a dive comp, because they can just jump you easily. These supports are not in the best position, so they could try to work with that. I mean, the blue team. But basically, the red team was in range to cut the blue team in half and to start focusing the main healer. They basically, if they get rid of the main healer, they don't have any sustain. And then the red team can just roll over them. All right, let's look at the questions because we have some.
Well, it looks like some of the team members that are on the blue team are making comments about why they did what they did.
Okay. Normally, the team are running goat. I think so. What's the best way to counter that? Okay. You can go goats against goats. It will come down to coordination, as usually the mirror matchups. I like doing Farm Mercy because you have a lot of damage and then you can dive in, dive out. Basically, you can run Sombra comps to hack in and then just roll over the enemy. Sombra Doomfist works well.
That makes sense.
So, yeah. Okay, let's see other questions. Yeah, you can also run snipers with a Sombra, because if the Sombra hacks well, then it allows the team to get picks.
Yeah.
So, the question here. How they are supposed to create space if their Ana is dead? What's the best way? Well, if your Ana is dead, you are losing the main source of your sustain, you just need to pull back and usually it's not a good idea to pick a fight where your main healer is not there. The enemy can just roll over you, basically.
Yeah.
That's the idea. Creating space, basically pulling back, and this is the job of the tanks. Tell you to pull back. You realize that it's not a good situation to pick a fight. So making sure that you are not in a single jump distance, making sure that you are not in a distance which will allow the enemy team to cut you in half. That's important.
Well, how is a tank supposed to be able to tell if they're in a bad position? Like at the beginning of this fight, it looked like they were going to be okay, but then once they dove in,
the tanks should be familiar with the other tanks, so the tanks in the other team. So you know that this is a jump distance. Usually in the team, there's an in-game leader. There's an in-game leader who is going to tell you where to set up, tell you when to engage, when to fall back, stuff like that. But usually players are going to feed information to that player. So if you are certain that this is a bad position as a tank because you know that you can be just jumped easily, then it's time to pull back a bit, regroup, and maybe fight around the choke, just to make sure that you are not in the line of sight of the full enemy team easily, and to allow focusing targets easily and not being cut in half.
Have that pack mentality.
That's true. That's true. Even if you run a dive comp, you can't afford to dive these here because you are in a disadvantage. You can't afford to do that because you are not in the line of sight of your support and you are having one. All right. Welcome all new viewers on the stream. A lot of people coming. I'm really happy about that. All right. So, being cut in half, and then it's just sacrifice to the blood god. Anna goes down really quickly.
Kill this. Winston, no jump. I'm gonna die.
There you go.
She is the first one to be.
So that thing they coordinated nicely. These supports from the red team are not even participating in the fight for a long while. They are not not having the line of sight for 2 or 3 seconds.
Winston, no jump. I'm gonna die.
Yeah, it looks like there's Zin's more. Yeah, okay.
The Zen got an assist there, so he had the line of sight with the Discord, but yeah. This Sombra trying to harass the enemy, this is kinda late, and in a situation when you are at a disadvantage to begin with, it's not recommended. Try to hack, because you are the enemies are going to be aggressive. So you need to be there. You need to peel for your teammates if you are in a disadvantage. You can't really, unless the full team is able to dive in the enemy team and do what they did to you, like cut them in half and try to kill the supports, you can do so with a comp like Lucio and Mercy, who can just follow easily. But with a comp like this, you need to be there to peel, to hack the Winston, for example, to get rid of the shield, to allow clear line of sight in the fight. So yeah, basically not pulling back and spreading your DPS resources. That's what the mistake was here.
Makes sense.
And then the enemy team is just able to clean up. They are running the Tracer nicely. I mean, the Tracer is coordinating or focusing on the Zen orbs. You can see that from the kill feed here. Really important. And she's also working pretty well with the Winston and the Diva.
Their monkey went in so hard.
Yep.
I guess he was trying to get in there and stall the clock, I guess is what that was.
Yeah, that's also an important thing. Not to stagger too much and not to feed the enemies. Okay, so if it is really likely that you are going to lose the point, you don't want to feed the enemies. So when you're going in a solo queue environment, you're trying to stall the point. You might be able to pull some tricks alone, like, I know, getting a good Genji blade and wiping the full enemy team. It's not likely, but it can happen. I saw stuff like that.
Yeah.
When you are against an enemy team who is coordinating, they are spreading information really quickly. They are communicating with each other. You can't really pull a trick like that. It's really, really hard. And as it was only the second team fight, it's not likely that you are going to have ult. So, when you throw yourself in like that, you're feeding the enemy. And by feeding the enemy, you are risking them pushing the payload freely, or at least easily, in the next part of the map.
Mhm.
So
it's just giving them more room and whatnot.
yes, basically making it easier for them to win the next stages of the map.
Yeah.
Okay, so what you need to pay attention to when you are an in-game leader and calling if you want to go in or if not is the objective. 2 on the point, and the rest of them is just pushing back the enemies. They know that you can jump from here. Basically, you could reach the point, so they will just push you back. They will try to farm ults because they won the previous fight and they are just cleaning up now. In this situation, it is really important not to feed the enemy ult, not to jump in like that. That is way too far. I mean, you gotta pick on the Winston, but they are having a close spawn. They are still waiting for the payload. You are not really benefiting from this one.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, you might as well just group and just hold out.
yeah. The only thing that you can get is some ult charge, but you are feeding more usually if you stagger like this, and you are staggering yourself. I mean, the spawns are going to be way back. It's a lot more useful to wait for the full team and attack with a full force. Okay, so yeah, feeding a Winston, feeding a Doomfist to the enemy team, and then I think maybe there was a as well, or an Ana.
So I can do.
That's kind of bad.
We don't peel for our supports.
Yeah.
Problem.
Okay, I'll do more.
Yeah,
Okay, no,
I'm happy
yeah.
that they're falling back.
I'm pretty much dead.
Yeah, like,
Yeah, so this is what you want to do. Fall back, break the line of sight, and just make sure that you are not feeding the enemies. If they are being too aggressive with their positioning, you can try to punish them, but that's basically it. You don't want to be in the line of sight. You don't want to allow them to farm the support ults and do and risk of being killed and get into a 5v6 again, because this is how the enemy team can snowball it really easily.
Mhm.
Alright guys, questions so far? There were a lot of questions before, not a lot to this part. Count, do you have anything?
So, I mean, you basically covered the part where it's like, how do you know if you need to stagger out the objective being captured?
Mhm.
So that makes sense to me. I really can't think of anything off the top of my head on this one, because at this point, you do need to pull back, you do need to regroup, and I don't think there's any reason why you need to overextend. And so you covered pretty much everything I was thinking of.
All right, okay.
At that point.
So, 2 team fights done. Payload is being pushed. They got past the choke, which is a nicely defendable position, and now it gets interesting, because as you can see, the ults start to line up for both teams. What do you think? What do you need to pay attention to when you are playing in a team?
Obviously, their ult charge and see who has ult, I guess.
Okay, yes. Usually, you are keeping track of the ults of the players in the same position, because you are familiar with how quickly Winston can charge the ult. You are familiar with how quickly Zen can charge the ult. Usually, it is recommended for players to watch the kill feed for their mirror position to be able to tell the ult charges. If you don't do that, that's not a big deal, because usually you can just guess that everyone is going to have an ult in every 2 team fights, and then with experience you can adjust to that.
That makes sense.
Okay.
Interesting.
So, but basically, who is going to call the ult usage? I mean, it's different for a lot of teams, but how I feel is one of the best ways is to have an in-game leader who is going to coordinate the ult. you need to have a good ult economy in a scrim setting, because the enemy can just roll over you if they are using good ult with good timing. So this is important to. So it is important to have someone who is coordinating these ults. It's not okay to just throw them into fights. Sometimes it is. Sometimes you can trust your players to do what they want. Usually this needs coordination. Even if it is just like telling them to use their ult freely in the next team fight, it's for their better judgment to decide if they want to use it and when they want to use it. But basically telling the Zen and the Ana, and it's most important if you have defensive ults. Like it's not likely that you are going to play Lucio and Zen, but those are two defensive ults. You don't want to burn them in the same time. But you also kinda want to coordinate stuff. So for example, if you have an Ana and the Winston, you want to make sure that you are not nanoing the Winston in his before he's ulting. So Winston should expect to get a nano, get some heals, zap the enemies, and ult if really necessary.
Okay. Interesting. I like it.
Okay, some questions. I have heard that pro players are trained to stagger efficiently on 2CP. Is it a skill that is worth learning? Well, staggering on 2CP can be really important because 2CP can be snowballed easily. If you are having a comp that is able to efficiently stagger, you might have a good chance of taking back the point. You are able to do damage as well, not just stagger.
You'd be able to.
Yep.
I mean, this is what I've noticed before, is that you have to be able to do the damage and then also sustain yourself and be able to stay on the point long enough to at least not only just stagger, but also stagger long enough to get your teammates there, so it's worth getting back the point. Because just continually staggering is just feeding.
Yeah.
So I feel like it's not worthwhile.
Yeah. You need to balance between feeding and between staggering. With staggering, you gain time and you gain opportunities that your team might be able to claim. If you are good enough to stagger in a way that allows your team to regroup and try to take the point together, maybe using ults. Usually it's when you have ults that you can use and that you can coordinate. It's good to stagger. If you know that you can force out because you are staggering efficiently, that's also a thing that you can do.
Oh, okay.
Just to go in, when they have clearly visible advantage, which you know that you are only going to gain 1 or 2 seconds, you are giving them ult charge for that 1 or 2 seconds, and it is usually not worth it in that situation. It's really hard to decide, and that's why it's usually not recommended to start drilling for that and learning this kind of thing, because you can lose a lot, and it is kind of hard to gain from a situation like this if you are not really, really good and if you don't put a lot of time playing. Ooh, chat is on fire. Good, good. I like it.
They're all over the place.
Yes, I can't even keep up. Okay, so yep. Could you give me some Genji tips for improving my aim and when I dive? Who should I dive? All right, that's not related to this one. If you have Genji questions, go to the Discord and ask in the Dojo coaching. Who you want to dive with Genji though is usually you are just a hit and run, an opportunist. You want to dive with your tanks, usually in a team setting, and you want to get kills with the dash combos. All right. Yes, ult management, talking about ult management. If you have a plan for what ults we use every fight, then that would be huge, okay?
And then Jenser here saying, when is the best time to switch off at comp if you still have like 3 ults?
Switch off a comp.
Like in this situation, if they see that their dive is not working, they should probably consider switching off to a different one. Should they do it even though they have 4 ults that they can use, or should they stick it out, use the ults, and then switch the comp up?
These comps are kinda the same, so usually you can make it work unless you are getting really hard countered, like feel like you can't do anything about it. Then might want to switch to a different comp. Usually it's the job of the in-game leader to decide which comp is the best against the enemies. So in this current situation, let's see which ults you have. You have Ana, which you can use to boost, well, the monkey, maybe the fist.
What about the diva?
Yeah, can be given to the diva, but not. I mean, you don't have a Genji, you don't have a soldier. It's not that valuable. Doomfist can do a lot of damage with it, but the enemy team is kind of mobile, so they can just. You can try to jump the supports, but it's going to be hard to do around the payload if they play it well. With a Sombra ult,
Fair enough.
that's a good one in this comp. So keeping that is good. Coordinating that with a diva ult can work as well, because with a good EMP, you will not allow the enemies to go away from the diva bomb. This can also be used to zone them. The monkey ult, yeah, kinda good. You can split the team in half and then try to clean it up. But these, I mean, the strength of this comp is not in the ult. Yes, they can roll over the enemies with good coordination, building around the DPS ults, usual.
Okay.
But if you get hard countered, like they pick a Pharah Mercy for this stage, and you don't have any answer to them, unless you want to sacrifice your Ana to do Pharah Mercy hunting, then throwing away, I don't know, the DPS ult, the Sombra ult. I mean, if you get pushed back hard, that's a good sign to just try to switch, because you are not going to be able to use that, because the enemies are going to get picks, and then you can't really follow anything up.
Okay.
Okay. Other questions?
I don't see anything. They were talking about there weren't any real good combos in the team, but they discussed that.
Yep.
So.
Okay. Good. Let's continue then.
Anna's, that's actually still
I'm
probably-
reloading.
Where's Doom? What the fuck? When they dive us, if you
Okay, grouping that up.
everyone focus on Winston.
Grouping up and
Where's-
poking, basically.
It's still like
Sombra
I
is
see the summer.
looking for opportunities. Hack.
I can hack.
Tracer's over on the left. Nanoed monkey.
So, team fight begins. It's when you're reviewing your team VODs, it's really important to pay attention to how team fights begin. Where you are. Are you doing your job as a team? Are you coordinating well? And then pay attention to what is actually happening in a team fight. So there are a lot of ults for the blue team. Also some for the red team. Basically, the stagger that they did allowed them to push halfway without any action from the defender team.
Okay.
Alright, so let's see this team fight. So what I mentioned is you want to look at how your team is positioned.
Really spread out.
Yep. Okay. Is this a good thing or not?
Okay. My ingenious plat senses tell me that this is a decent setup. I don't know where the Zenyatta disappeared to. I don't know where he is, but I get the Doomfist positioning looks good to me. I don't know if the monkey should be over here near the Doomfist. He should probably be up over here helping protect the Ana a little bit more.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe. And then because we're seeing that there's obviously an Nano monkey coming in to do some havoc, so they're obviously gunning for the Ana, so we need to help protect her as best as possible. And I think that's so. I think the monkey's just a little bit out of position. I don't know. I feel like they should be around the corner a little bit more because they see that they're diving in. So the more cover you get, the less damage you'll take, and you'll be able to muscle through the attack here. I don't know where the Sombra went either. So, little spread out for my taste, but But yeah, that's my plant census going
Yes.
off.
Okay. So what you can see, guys, on the stream, it's not really necessary that you are actively participating in scrims to have a good judgment of a situation. You just need to analyze that throughout. Okay, so Tom, that was nice. I
Okay.
kind of
Yes.
agree with this. So they are, yes, spread out. They made the mistake of allowing the enemy team to jump in amidst them to harass the supports without giving them proper peeling. So, for example, look at this Doomfist. Yes, he is charging up. He might be able to get a hit on that Diva. But if they are not able to do that, they might be jumping Diana again.
Mhm.
What you want to do, I mean, this is not that bad, however.
It's not terrible. I mean,
They can just close in on the enemies if they are not in jump distance. So it's kind of can go both ways. I would, however, place these two wards to this position a bit because you are going to get the same information about the enemies. And if they make the mistake of diving in too deep, you are cutting them away from their supports. Supports are not going to be able to get here. So you can win one or get one or two quick picks by shielding them, cutting them away from the rest of the team, and baiting them on Diana and then peeling for Diana. Can also be
okay, yeah. Okay, that makes sense.
done.
Coming to my
Sometimes-
windowless fan.
Yeah. Sometimes you can also use positions like this to get aggressive as the defenders and jump the enemy team when they are not expecting it. And it needs a lot of coordination because fighting around the payload is hard, but yeah, can be done. Okay, let's see what is going on. So Diana just used the monkey, I suppose. Yes,
Mhm.
jumping on Diana. Same thing that they did.
Can't
Doomfist is there, Winston is there, Diva is there.
Okay.
Using the team in Hall.
Nice.
Looking at the kill feed, Doom was able to get 2 picks, so that's good.
Hmm.
Okay.
They lost their Anna, but with the that's gonna hurt. Ooh. But they got rid of both of their supports so far, so they're able to stall out the payload at least.
That's right.
So that's good. And now they're gonna probably, I hope, stagger that baby Diva.
Diva kill me. Diva low. Diva low. Diva low inside. Come on.
Maybe. Okay. Nope. Baby Diva's just gonna run away now. She good. Oh no, she did.
Did.
Nice stagger.
Okay, so what happened here? The enemies used strategy as before, tried to split the team in half and get a kill on Diana quickly. Rid of the main sustain. These situations can be expected. If you are the in-game leader, you are going to be able to tell just by looking at your team, having these kind of ults, that the enemies are going to have these ults because they didn't really use them. So you can try to, example, expect this and EMP them in the face. Try to get rid of them as they jump in. Predicting the enemy and reading them after 1 or 2 fights can also be done. So let's go back to the beginning of the team fight.
Yeah.
Heal me. I can knock. I can be
Yeah, that's about right.
AMP if you can.
Here comes the monkey.
Yeah, so they kind of reacted late to this thing here, diving Diana. They had some time to get in the line of sight and they turned a bit too slowly. Both of the supports are exposed. Zen is exposed. Well, the Diva is not able to kill the Zen because he uses the trance.
Okay.
And trance is an interesting one here because they don't have any lockdown ult, so trance can't be really saved to heal a wombo combo or stuff like that. So it can be used to just heal the team up and to bait ult from the enemies. So for example, if they use the nano on the monkey and you are being jumped heavily, the tank can just go there and
Makes sense.
Okay, looking at the questions. Okay.
Well, there's one here. The Doomfist is asking what we should do. No, hold up. Maybe. No, I misread that. Never mind. No, wait. Would a Mercy also be viable instead of a Zen in this situation? Like in this comp?
Currently, I mean, might be able to make them work, but you the Discord. You don't really have a reliable source of consistent damage. The Discord orb helps a lot in that regard. It allows the monkey and the diva to dive really heavily. It allows peeling for your backline as well, and you can kind of use it. It's hard to stay alive against a dive comp as Mercy. Of course, you can use your team to get around.
So true. Just bloop, bloop. Wee. Fly around.
What is happening?
I don't know.
Okay. All right. Yeah. So yeah, you can try to make the Mercy work, but I think Zen is a better pick just because of the Discord here.
So Slade here's asking, when the fight started, should I have jumped and peeled for our Anna or dive the backline like he did? So at the beginning of that fight, the monkey dove into and went after the people in the backline, but ignored going back for the Anna. So did he do the right thing in that situation? I mean, they won the team fight, obviously, but would it have been better for him to have peeled back for the Anna? I don't know. My plat senses tell me it wouldn't have mattered because the monkey was nano boosted. So I don't know if having the other monkey there tickling would have been of any use. Because at least in this instance, with him going back, he's distracting their heals from actually healing their tanks. So it's a nice it's a glass cannon, in all honesty. But that's what my plat senses say.
Yes, okay. What are we fighting for? We're fighting for the payload. So even if you sacrifice half of your team, even if you get losses, if you are able to win the same amount around the payload, controlling the payload and stopping the payload in the process, or contesting the point, it's usually a good idea to do that. When you are playing Zen in the dive comp, you are going to die a lot, and you know that as Zenyatta, and it's really frustrating. You are the dummy. You can't really move around. They can just jump you and kill you. But you're there to contest the objective. Zen is there to support their team with damage, and if you are positioning yourself well, then you are able to control the enemy objective, and you should be fine. And even if you lose one of the boards here, you'll be fine because you are contesting the payload. You are not allowing them to push. So yeah, diving the enemy team in a situation like this, trading a situation like this is fine. The only thing that you should be aware of is the enemy ult. So if you know that the enemy is going to be able to repel your attack, you're not going to be able to get picks, then diving the enemy is not really good idea. Can help the backline.
Okay.
But yeah, that's basic. It's a hard one to decide which is the best course of action situation like this. But
it's a gold medal to you, monkey.
Yeah, usually contesting the payload is the priority.
Okay, that makes sense.
If you stay back and peel, they are going to be able to get in. They'll have the line of sight on their tanks. So you're basically losing this distance. Because a nano-boosted monkey with a diva diving an Ana, much about that. Unless you have trance and activate trance quick. Save the Ana. Turn around the fight with a trance like that.
I got Ana.
That's true.
Yeah, that trance wasn't giving a lot of value for. Have been better to use it for the Ana.
You have no heals,
I can go break.
So team fight is basically one with some nice staggers. So that's
Tracer.
I like that. And the Kingsmen swap off of Zenyatta to go Brigitte.
Follow inside.
Hmm?
Come on.
Yeah, so
Interesting choice.
as the enemy team
I
have
wanna go on the
they have a tracer,
I don't know.
they have the dive.
This is on cut.
Brigitte can be used pretty nicely to peel for the other
This is on
support.
cut. Kill this team, nice.
Get
You hear that, Farfo? Good choice.
EMP after he drops on an EMP.
Interesting fight. Interesting fight.
Nice, nice, nice.
No cooldowns, no cooldowns.
Yeah, they are kind of around the place. Let's just
Yeah, that's it.
let's go
It's
back.
massive. Yeah, that was a weird. I don't even know what initiated that fight.
I don't know.
Monkey's going pretty far. Monkey wants to fly.
This is on cut.
Okay, Doomfist a little screwed maybe. No,
This is on cut.
okay.
Kill this team, nice.
Okay, so as before, let's look at the positioning of the team.
Okay.
If you fight here, around here, you are going to put your supports into bad position. They need to be somewhere around here, exposed in the open to get the line of sight. But you don't really want to allow the enemy team much for free. One thing. The other thing is that we don't know where that monk. Just go for.
He went up. Yeah. It looks
Yeah.
like he went all the way up. Okay, he's back
the enemy
now. He's
supports.
yeah, and he's ulting now.
If
And the poor monkey's almost dead.
If
Oh, he's dead.
the objective was to try to force out the transcendence and then get out, then I think that one can be. But if you are not there in the beginning of the team fight as the main tank, team is going to have a really hard time. Even if you can't heal actively, the shield can be used to cut the enemy off, to not to allow them to gain sustain from the supports. And you can boop people around, you can body block enemies. So that's there. And you're diving in a place where you don't have any sustain, have any help from the rest of the
Nano boosted Sombra. Let's go.
yeah.
Let's go.
Okay.
So many ults.
Yeah, there are a lot of ults going kind of chaos. So the MP here, that was. See that again.
EMP after he drops on an EMP.
Nice, nice, nice.
No cooldowns, no cooldowns.
Everyone team, please.
They got the 2 tanks and then the tracer.
Yeah.
It looked like.
Yes. Not a lot of value. Mostly because the follow-up was not there.
Nice.
So
Yeah, I think the only one they got out of that was the tracer.
Yeah. So this was I think this was an issue with the coordination. If you have the Sombra, you're going to be disabling their movements. You are going to be making them sitting ducks. That will allow this team to do a lot of damage. If the team is not there, the Sombra ult is kind of wasted. I mean, yeah, Sombra was able to get 1 pick here, but that's not for not the full potential of the ult. Have been a lot better if the monkey stayed back and if they coordinated the usage of this ult.
We take away your gold medal now, monkey.
Oh, my microphone is cutting out.
You sound clear to me, and I can't. I have the stream muted.
Strange. Let me check the OBS. Oh yes. Okay. Could be better now. I have.
What happened?
I have some filters on, and I got so immersed in the review that I pushed away the microphone from my.
It was getting so close to the screen.
Yes.
It pushed
yes.
the mic away.
I'm
That's
looking
hilarious.
at the pixels. All right.
I have to study each pixel. Okay. Anyways, moving
Sorry
on.
about that. Yeah. So this ult here could grant you 2 or 3 kills instead of just a single one. By combining the Ana with the monkey, so the nano boost with the monkey and with the Sombra, you can do a lot of damage. And
So
basically,
much.
this fight was lost because of that. Because of the lack of proper coordination here.
Oh my god.
Okay. Well, such cinematic movement. So it's just the tanks on the point right now.
They're trying
I
to
think Anna in the backfield. Yeah.
hold it. Yeah, that's also an important thing here. You want to die quickly. Just throw yourself in. Because this will make you spawn really late. Oh, that's a Sombra. That's not gonna. Okay, Sombra is fine if it doesn't die, but she dead. She dead now.
Look for a jump behind.
She did. She gone. Uh-oh, Doomfist fight. Oh no, he ran away. Never mind.
You can dive her.
Yeah,
It's
Monkey.
up, no.
Monkey was dead. There's a comment on the stream. Monkey was dead already. Yes, because Monkey jumped the back line, and I'm saying that was bad coordination. Monkey was needed there to be able to use the ult properly of Diana.
Monkey no jump.
Okay. Red team is pushing in, using their advantage, basically getting half of the distance again for free.
Doom dead.
Ooh.
They have 2 picks though, so this is when you want to get aggressive and start cleaning up, and they are doing that nicely.
And they swapped off of the Sombra to the McCree.
Yep. Sombra was
Yeah, I
not
caught on to
getting
that.
a lot of value here.
I'm getting a health pack. I have nano.
So did Jinzer record this? Like, is this him doing the spectator camera?
Yeah. He was asking for any feedback for his recording style. So if you have something, because you are the man of the camera.
I'm the man of the camera. Yeah, this kind of a shot you got here, Jinzer. I mean, this isn't about recording this stuff. I don't want to do this to you, Alien. I'm not stepping on your toes. Just go ahead. Just go ahead and let's just analyze this little interaction of teams.
Okay. I mean, so far I didn't feel frustrated about the spectator record. Sometimes they record from really bad angles, but this is fine. If it allows me to see the battlefield, if it allows me to see most of the players, because you can't really always see all the players, then it's fine.
You
That's
more
what you need.
than you usually want to see the objective. You don't really want to see most of the team fights that are outside of that, atypically, unless it's really heated. Because I'm just basing this off of what I've seen in the Overwatch League and some of the other smaller streams. But most of the time, having this kind of angle, like I like this angle. This is good.
Yeah, in a scrim setting, this is the important, to be able to judge the team fight, not to show off how the Doomfist lands the abilities or stuff like that.
You don't want to focus on one individual person. You want to focus on where like the group of them are.
True that.
Where the majority of the fighting is happening.
True that. Yep. Okay, let's see this fight.
He's one. He ulted,
A lot of particle effects.
Oh my god.
Okay, 3 kills right now. Did they just use 3 ults?
Yeah,
The
they
red team?
burned a lot of ult. They also used trans for whatever reason. That was a big mistake.
Yeah, that was a weird trans.
Okay, yeah, they won the team fight with the Doomfist ult, basically.
Yeah.
From that point, I mean...
It's basically a snowball after that.
Yeah, we were talking about that in the beginning, that Doomfist is going to be able to jump the backline because they don't have movement abilities, and yeah, Brig is... I mean, yeah, she get out from there, or Kree. It was Kree. Yeah, they don't really have movement abilities, so if the Doomfist goes in, he goes in and he's going to get the picks. Do anything about that. In a situation like this, you start pulling back, because that is your first reaction. But because the enemy team is so close, they are going to be able to get the picks usually, unless you have movement abilities. So if you are with a slow hero, like Trick there, just throw yourself in the fight and die to be able to regroup before the payload is pushed in.
Their Brig wasted the rally, and now swapping off to Lucio, so that might be why they used the rally.
Okay.
Interesting pick of the Lucio lifestyle.
Yeah, here Lucio can be really strong because he can just boop the enemies into the abyss here. Also, generally contesting with Lucio is a fun thing to do
True.
and stand at a
Very
point for a
true.
really long time. Okay, and this is the part where I usually just yeah, you can't really do much here. It's chaos.
Yeah, basically at that point, you're just trying to stall out the clock and just burn time off so that you have more in the next round.
That's
right?
right. That's right.
Is that what you want to do?
Yeah. I mean, if you are able to regroup after a lost team fight like that one, then you might have a good chance at taking the point back. But unless you can do that, if you die in a staggered way, you are going to have a hard time grouping up. So just try to steal time from the clock. That's the objective. Okay. Okay. Yeah, and they are just standing in the door, pushing the enemies back, so not a lot of things.
Yeah.
Okay. That's what we had time for today. If you have any questions, then is the time to ask them. Tone, you have any remarks?
I think it wasn't like a terrible. I mean, this looks like my normal life in Overwatch. I do good on the first fight, and then everything else goes to hell. So it's great. But I think the blue team, did a fairly good job on adapting. There was minor mistakes that happened that cost them certain fights, but that always happens. So it's a learning experience from this one, and it wasn't like a terrible loss on this end of the fight.
No,
but
it wasn't a steamroll thingy.
Yeah, so mistakes were made, but I think they're learnable mistakes that are easily to change. What's the best way to stall an objective to overtime as a team?
Yeah, best way to stall. You generally want to keep your ults if you are really close to them. If you are able to use them to stall. You want big heroes that can get to the point. I mean, there's no secret sauce to this. You just do the same thing that you do on a solo comp or a solo queue in the solo queue.
You do what all major CEOs do and just throw bodies at it.
Yeah, what you can do is utilize heroes like Diva, utilize heroes like Zarya, so have extra protection. You can quickly swap to Lucio and escort tanks on the point. Because you are going to have a lot of HP, and the tanks can create a distraction, allowing the backline to heal them. But can be a disadvantage in a lot of situations. So, for example, if the enemy team runs sniper comp on Hanamura, second point, and you want to stall that, and you just go out with tanks, you're going to have a hard time because you are going to get picked if you want to do damage and stall the point in the same time. So it's kind of map dependent, but basically what you want to do is have heroes that are fit for stalling the point.
That makes sense. And then this one's not really a question, but more of like a statement that I saw. They're saying their team cops and pre-planning are their biggest issues right now. So do you have any tips for those?
I would argue with that. There's another follow-up question, and then we are going to answer this one.
Okay.
But so running one by one or going as a team. If you have time to group up, you're not being staggered, then try to go in a team. So you can send in Lucio, for example, or somebody who can stay on a point. Then group up and go in and really quickly try to focus targets down. That's a good chance to clear the point. Okay, back to the
Statement.
summary. Yes. So from my point of view, the biggest issues were not predicting what the enemy is going to do and not learning from the team fights, because you allowed them to do the same thing again and again effectively against you. Not really combining your ults. So there were ups and downs. There were some really great movements, but you need to coordinate the ults a lot better. Make sure that you can follow them up. Make sure that you pre-plan 14 fights. You might need some practice to drill formations. So, for example, how to follow up a Sombra ult with heroes. That can be drilled as well. When I'm coaching teams, we are usually doing 3v3 exercises when one team just needs to defend themselves and the other team's task is to kill them quickly. So I usually have a stopper. I just measure the time. They have to be in the same place and they have to try different initiations, different target calling methods and stuff like that. So you can drill that. Well, if you can do that against a 6-stack, that's even better. So for example, what we are doing now in the Dojo 2.0 should allow you to meet up with teams and to practice these kind of things against each other. It can give you a lot of, it can hone your execution. So yeah, not billing for your supports, another issue. You let your supports run to be jumped. You're not really paying attention to that. You're not really paying attention to how you are positioned against the enemy team and how they are going to use their assets against you. Yeah.
Nice. This was fun.
I think these are the most important things. And I hope that, so we have 20 watching now. Still a small number, but we are going to do this more frequently as time allows it. And make sure that if you are not part of the Discord, then join the Discord. The link should be in the description, but let me check that. Description. And yeah, any other questions before we finish the stream? I was really happy to do this. I have been coaching teams for a long time, and in the recent months, I didn't have the chance to do so. I really like this.
Yeah, this was fun.
All right.
Even with my plat senses, it was great.
I mean, it can be really beneficial for the solo player as well, I believe, because you get a good sense about how teamwork should be done. All right, good. Some 2 words about Patreon, or two sentences. If you want to support the dojo and get coaching in return in different forms, then we recommend you to do so on Patreon. We have the Patreon here on the Discord announcement. You can get coached, and this supports the work of the dojo. And yeah, just be there on the Discord, be active, use the Fight Club. Yesterday we had a stream about the Fight Club. We played together. You can practice there solo, and you can use the channels to look for teams and start working together. Our new mission is to help with forming teams, help with networking, and we are doing this for you. So just get your users on the Discord.
Oh my goodness. Okay. What wordplay?
Yeah. Okay, that's all I had.
Okie dokie, guys. We'll see you in the next one.
See you guys in the next one. Bye-bye.
Bye.